What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Anthony Sain Show. Got the new shit on y'all asses, man. You know, got that new shit on y'all, man. Got the new intro. Shout out to the good people at Bluff City Media, namely my man Kenny Stubblefield, who's across the screen from me, man, across the camera from me. Kenny Stubblefield, what's going on with you, my brother?
What's up, man? You good?
Yeah, man, dusted off the new intro, man. My first time seeing it. Here was, I ain't getting no demo of it. Hey, I love it, bro. I love it. Hope y'all like it too. If you like the new intro, show some love in the comments, man. If you like that joint, I definitely love the new intro for the show. I'm really geeked about that, man. Well, Kenny, it's good to be here, man. We got my man Corey Parson coming in. Not really sure what publication that brother's with. He's typically an independent brother, so I don't know what publication he's with, but he's a gambling expert. I know him from my time when I was in Sports Illustrated.
Right.
And he's just a guy I befriended, man. We would talk all the time. Come to find out, he's a guy from New York, but a big Memphis Grizzlies fan, big Ja Morant fan. I think he's got some type of ties to something with Ja. I don't know, but he goes back way back with Ja. I want to say he lives in South Carolina now. So Corey Parson, my guy, gonna be a great interview, I'm sure. Coming up.
If you know anything about us, we kind of have an affinity towards independent people, right?
Oh yeah, we rock
independent
with
content creators, man.
Yeah, man. Just like the song you just heard, man. Underground Kings, man.
Underground Kings,
that's what
baby.
I fool with out here, man. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, man. But yeah, so my guy Corey Parson will be joining us for the sit down with Sain. I'm excited about that. But Kenny Stubblefield, since the last time we talked, my good friend, a lot of Memphis Grizzlies fans breathed a sigh of relief, unnecessary sigh of relief, as a matter of fact. It was my man Ja Morant signs with the Lyft. And if you're wondering, no, Ja is not going to be a Lyft driver. He is not going to be pulling at your house, giving you a ride.
Yeah.
He signed with Lyft Athletics, a Lyft Management, which is
Lyft Sports Management.
Yeah, Lyft Sports Management, which is Mike Miller's company, man.
Yes, sir.
Mike Miller's agency. If you've been paying attention over the last few years, Mike Miller and Ja Morant have been kind of courting each other, man. Just want to be real about it. You've seen Mike, he's a close friend of Ja Morant. He testified for Ja Morant during the civil trial.
And he kept a G too in there.
Yeah, he kept 100 with him. So it's just a natural fit that once Ja decides to go to another agency, that he would link up with someone who's been connected to Ja literally ever since day one.
And that he trusts.
And Mike Miller. And for all the people who were worried about Clutch Sports, which I never was, and I know you weren't as well, go ahead and breathe your sigh of relief. Ja Morant is not going to Clutch. But let me dispel some of the myths about Clutch Sports too, man. Real fast, if you don't mind. Quick list of guys that are Clutch Sports athletes, right? Miles Bridges, I guess they kept him in the league. I guess that's something you give him credit for. Jordan Clarkson.
Good job, Rich Paul.
Rich Paul. Kentavious Caldwell Pope was with the Lakers, left the Lakers to go to Denver, right? Jordan Clarkson, he's in Utah. He's kind of been cool in Utah. You haven't heard he's fine. I mean, Anthony Davis, of course, played for the Pelicans, moved from the Pelicans to the Lakers, and a trade that the Lakers are still paying for. You know what I mean? So
and throwing his coach under the bus after the last game, apparently.
De'Aaron Fox, he's in Sacramento. Small market. I think he's going to be in Sacramento. I don't think he's going to the Lakers. You know what I mean? Darius Garland, small market, Cleveland All-Star. No rumblings about him leaving Cleveland. Don't want to go anywhere else. The same city LeBron came from.
Right.
Nothing. You know what I mean? Aaron Gordon seems pretty happy in Denver, bro. You know what I mean?
He's good.
Draymond Green might go to the Lakers. Hey, more power to him if he does. Montrezl Harrell played for the Lakers.
Out the league.
Taylor Horton Tucker played for the Lakers. Now he plays for Utah, I think, or Washington or something like that. I don't know. Keldon Johnson in San Antonio. Haven't heard anything about forcing him anywhere. He's definitely a guy that's on the trade market. And, maybe he'll be moved, maybe he's not. Zach LaVine, a guy who's often been rumored that the Lakers won't. Still in Chicago. Tyrese Maxey. Your new league most improved player. No rumblings about getting him out of Philadelphia. He's in a big market. Ben McLemore headed to jail. What else we got? DeJounte Murray. He was with the Spurs. Now he's with Atlanta. Might be moved. He might be the starting point guard in Atlanta next year.
They need to keep him and let Trae Young go.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Yusuf Nurkic.
Where's he at?
Scottie Pippen Jr. left LA. He's on a 2-8 with the Grizzlies. Hey, look at that.
Let's go, man.
Alan Sexton Seems pretty all right in Utah, wherever he's at. Hey,
Yep.
didn't see anything about him getting forced to go to another market. Gary Trent Jr. He's in Toronto. Jerry Vanderbilt, current Laker. Fred VanVleet didn't go to L.A. He's in
Went
Houston.
to New York. Yeah. No, not
He's in
New York. Houston. Yep.
Lonnie Walker doing pretty good with Brooklyn. Haven't heard anything about that. He was with L.A. and now he's seems like dudes get these contracts when they play for the Lakers. You know?
Right. That is true though.
And Trae Young, there were talks last year about him going to the L.A. Did not happen. And I can promise you this, it probably did not happen.
Yeah,
so I think the whole clutch sports thing is a myth. I think it's just something it's the boogeyman, it's the scary monster in the closet. It's not really a real thing.
All right. Now let me run through Lift Sports Management's clientele.
Cool little lineup. Cool look.
They got a little Paolo Banchero.
Who was their biggest name until they got Ja. Yep.
Until they got Ja. Patrick Beverly, Wendell Carter Jr., Robert Williams III.
Yep.
They got Max Christie, who's a Laker, so that's a big deal, man.
Who's also Zach Kleiman's love child.
Yeah, so yeah. PJ Washington, Trey Jones. That's their lineup right now.
Tyus Jones,
Tyus Jones is in there too. You're talking some guys that maybe the Grizzlies might be interested in, right? Like, hey, I got a rumor. I'm gonna start a rumor right now. Paolo Banchero to the Grizzlies, man.
Oh, it's happening. It's happening just because they got the same agent. Why not?
Why not? It works for Clutch.
Yeah, same agent. But it literally happened one time, bro. Anthony Davis is the only example of it.
Yeah, it worked for them. Paolo Banchero to Memphis, man.
To Memphis, yep. Hey, whatever we give you, just take it. Just because agents run the NBA, man.
For Luke Kennard, Jake LaRavia, and Zaire Williams, and a second round.
There you go. Hey, I'm telling you, man, the agents make this stuff happen, man. I'm telling you, that's how it happens. But something that could be an interesting tidbit from that is probably going to be, coincidence regardless.
Yeah.
Wendell Carter Jr. is a Lift sports management guy. He's a guy that's been rumored to the Grizzlies a lot.
It's interesting, right?
And he really would check off a lot of boxes, man. Because I talked about my 25-minute per game theory, right? He's a guy where if he's around that 25, 30 minutes per game, that's pretty much what he plays anyway. And he's had the injury history. Like I could see a guy like Wendell Carter Jr., a guy who can defend like hell. He's got good numbers against Nurkic. Who cares who's got good numbers against him? Against Jokic, Nikola Jokic.
Yeah.
Against Yusuf Nurkic.
All them Serbian names get us,
right?
Man.
Good numbers against him, against Jokic. Can knock down the three. He's a Duke guy. Kleiman's a Duke guy, of course. I can see it, man. He's around that same age as Jaren and them. I could see that happening. The more and more I think about it, especially with him being limited in his playing time. His playing time in the playoffs just isn't happening. You know what I mean? So I could definitely see him kind of maybe even wanting to get away and talking to his agent and saying, hey, let's make something happen in Memphis. I've heard people talk about trading our pick for no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing anything involving us moving up or down really for Wendell Carter Jr. when it comes down to that draft pick.
Are we setting up a father-son reunion with Kleiman and Max Christie, man? I mean, is this what we're doing here? I'll take some Max Christie, man. I like
a phone call one of these days. We keep playing around with Kleiman. Somebody man got love kids.
But I do like. I'll be honest with you. I like Max Christie's game. I think he's a good player. Yeah.
And he looks like he could be Zach Kleiman's son as well. So why not? But shout out to Ja, man. Like I said, keeping it with Mike Miller's not a Memphian, but of course he has Memphis ties. I'm sure he has a house here. And if you play NBA 2K, Kenny Stubblefield, if you play it at all, Mike Miller is always in the crowd, and the game always says Mike Miller is here to see the game, and they show a close up of Mike Miller sitting in the crowd in NBA 2K. Why Mike Miller out of all the former Grizzlies? But that happens. Like 1 out of every 10 games you play Mike Miller, they show Mike Miller in the crowd.
What a flex by Mike Miller. Yeah. He had to have known somebody and said, hey, man, just put me in the crowd, bro. Because that's what he does now.
Yep.
Like if you see him, he's always at games. But he's always.
I hadn't thought about that. That probably was intentional.
That's intentional, 100%.
Because he said that he had 2K listed as one of his agencies, one of his companies that his agency does work with.
Absolutely, that's intentional.
I bet Mike either paid for that or he got some strings pulled to put him in the
Absolutely.
game.
Absolutely. That's
and he's in every, like, you play the Grizzlies, like, and Mike Miller's in the crowd, who was a great.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. My co-host, Peter Edmondson, when I was on radio, he's in that game too. He's in the game.
I know his voice. I've heard his voice for years on 2K.
No. He's not in the game like that. He's
the tweets. The tweets.
Yeah.
The tweets. Exactly. I see it all the time. That's what it was. It's his tweets. Yep.
The tweets, man. But I'll tell you what, man. I'm gonna go ahead and slide out the way. Glad my boy Ja, new agency, man. But before I slide out the way, I'm gonna say this too. I think this is an opportunity for Ja to really seize on his return, play his cards right, and just really take his endorsement to the next level. I think that you got a guy like Mike Miller, who, like I said, who's planting himself in NBA 2K. Hopefully, that's a guy that could get Ja some new endorsements and just help him with his image, man. You know, sometimes even if your other agent was fine, sometimes you got to shake things up to get where you want to go, man. So I'm happy for Ja to come down to that, and I'm happy for Grizzly fans who thought that the boogeyman was coming when it comes down to clutch sports, man. But I tell you, about to get out the way, Kenny Stubblefield, my man, Corey Parson is going to join us. It's going to be a great interview. I'm already knowing. Glad you guys are sticking with us. We'll see you guys in a minute here on the Anthony Sain Show.
PJ Haggerty, and how do you put complementary pieces around him? Not guys that are necessarily going to steal the show and try to be 20-point per game scorers, but guys that can complement him. And I think Tyrese Hunter fits that perfectly. He's been, a 10 to 12 point per game scorer throughout his collegiate career. He has really solid assist numbers, which shows you right there that he's not a selfish player. He's willing to move the ball.
Right.
He's a decent but not great shooter, which can take a little bit of the pressure off. So I think what we're seeing with Colby Rogers, with Tyrese Hunter, is just more depth, might not be the right word, but just more complementary pieces to PJ Haggerty. They're not guys that are going to take 10, 15 shots a game. These are guys that can take a back seat, get him the ball, but also offer other scoring options in whatever rotation they're put out there.
Tune into On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
I don't. That's why I'm not joking. Our games would be 3 hours and 15 minutes.
It is the worst. But I have headphones on, but I heard that.
Was that?
For many of walls.
Those are definitely gunshots, and I hear cars squealing off.
Still occurring.
Wow.
All right. Win shares. Not looking great there.
Is that literally still happening?
Still happening.
Wow.
Jesus
So we need to be concerned. How many shots is that?
I'll lay low for a while.
That's at least 24 shots. At least. Speaking of a volume shooter.
Khalif Battle is outside.
Don't put that on
Hey, maybe Mikey.
Look, it's in our
I'm just kidding.
The jokes are all there.
Sorry.
The jokes are all there. Tune in to Tigers Untapped with TJ Willis and Trey Lasley every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Anthony Sain Show. As I told y'all about earlier in the show, good friend of mine joined me today, man, from New York, son. My guy Corey Parson is in the building, big time gambling guy. Corey, what publication are you with now? Are you doing the indie right
now? I'm trying to make it right now. Actually, you got some stuff coming up right now. Working on the Athletic Fantasy magazine. Working on some stuff on that also. We're going to be starting doing some stuff right down here locally in South Carolina on 107.5 The Game. A couple of months too late, obviously, after historic Final Four run. Historic run on the men's and women's side because the men's team actually went to the tournament this year. Shout out to Lamont Parrish, who, if I'm not mistaken, Lamont Parrish coached at Middle Tennessee at some point, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken with that. But also got those two things going right now, and obviously ear still to the ground. As we try to get back on our feet in a shaky media landscape.
Yeah, I know that you, of course, you my gambling guy. I call you my gambling guy all the time. I forgot that you moved to South Carolina. You, of course, are a New York guy, and I know that you moved to South Carolina. Haven't really connected yet. You are down there with Coach Dawn Staley, legendary Dawn Staley.
Yeah.
What do you think about the season she had down there? And I've told Kenny if there was a lady who I think would be the first lady to be hired as an NBA coach, it would be Dawn Staley. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think she has those kind of aspirations? What do you think about Dawn Staley in general?
So let's take the first question first. I think Dawn Staley is fantastic and saying, you guys down there, in Memphis cover a lot of local sports. And when you do it locally, you get to see the story from the beginning to the end. And I really was captured by this team coming off that loss to Iowa last year and then going through the season this year. The addition of Wiley, the Paris game with the behind the back. And then you see Raven Johnson all of a sudden hitting threes. And just as you kept going throughout the season, and I'm like, these girls are getting better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this is better than the Aaliyah Boston team last year. This is the best bunch they ever had. And I think the coach in North Carolina State said it the best as they were getting ready to prepare South Carolina in the Sweet 16 when he was like, they have a starting 10 who she recruits, she brings them in, she gets them in her system, and she wins championships. I would say right now, now that Nick Saban is retired, I think she's running the best program in college sports with the South Carolina women's basketball team. She is the GOAT right now. Yeah. Now, she has said, I believe on the Pivot last year, the Pivot went to see her and they interviewed her. And I remember watching that interview one night, and she mentioned that I believe Temple approached her last year to coach their men's basketball team. And her reply was that she does not want to coach men. So that's not going to be her ministry right there. She won't be going into that. I think she'll have a long career at South Carolina. Now, they always talk about Becky Hammond and Carol Lawson and stuff like that. Yeah. How about Mark Jackson? It's been 10 years and nobody has hired Mark Jackson. And I'm sitting here and saying to myself, here is a guy who was the catalyst to really the NBA's last dynasty, and he's been out of work for 10 years and barely gets interviews. I think that's so wrong what's being done to Mark Jackson.
Yeah, I agree. He's a guy, being honest with you, I think the game has kind of passed him by as far as.
Think so, huh?
I mean, 10 years ago is a long time ago, Corey. Like, how many coaches can we vouch for what they did? You know, how many guys, period, do we think can translate from 10 years ago? It's like a couple of them that are even still in the league from 10 years ago. So, like I said, I do think that, you know, at the time it was very unfair, but I think now he's kind of past his point of being able to be, you know, a good coach.
It's interesting. As a New Yorker, maybe my biases.
Oh yeah, it's like us saying Penny Hardaway coach.
Yeah. Maybe my biases are too strong because I'm like, you gotta understand, you know, Jamal Mashburn and Mark Jackson were like the first basketball players I knew. You know what I'm saying? And then seeing him go to the Knicks and going through that run and kind of watching his career, I've always been a Mark Jackson supporter. But and I'm banging the drum for him. But like you said, it never really hit me that 10 years removed is probably somebody that needs to be in the front office.
The NBA changed a lot, man.
The NBA changed. Corey, I have a question for you, man. Sure. Before we got started recording this episode, me and you were talking about your New York Knicks fandom. I kind of pitched to you the Isaiah Hartenstein stuff. You said, chill out, bro. Yeah. But you said you gave up your New York Knicks fandom a couple of years ago just because of all the craziness. But didn't New York just have the opportunity to hire Mark, and then something happened with like Leon Rose or something like that? Weren't there like some kind of beef? Like, did you want the Knicks to hire Mark back then?
I've always wanted the Knicks to hire Mark Jackson. Hell, I would have took Patrick Ewing at one point. So here's the thing, right? Listen, after 30 years of futility, I was like, I just need to watch a basketball team and like it. So, I kind of bounced around the Grizzlies. I rooted for the Dubs for a little bit just because I want to have a rooting interest as I'm watching the game. And now Knicks fans are saying I can't come back. You know what I'm saying? Trust me, they wasn't there for the last 30 years either. But with that being said, I like the core group, the bunch right now. So my fandom has waned, but I like to say now the Knicks are my Eastern Conference team if they'll have me.
So what's up with Hartenstein, man? A lot of Grizzly fans are asking me, do I think we got a chance to get him? I'm like, no, y'all not watching these games. That dude's closing. He's starting, scoring. He's averaging 30 minutes a game in the last game.
This is so interesting what happens with this team right here, right? And I think what you're seeing is what I tell a lot of people is, to have these big superstars is one thing, but then the team becomes a collection of individuals. What you see with this Knicks team is they're a team. They've bought in. No piece is greater than the other. Yeah, Jalen Brunson may be the guy whose name is on the marquee. He had two of the worst games that he had, and the team was able to win both games because of those role players, those pieces, and how they're coached. And they actually bought into Tibbs. Tibbs always is going to have a good team, but eventually the players will turn on him because he's too tough on the players. Doesn't seem to be the case, at least not yet this year. But a guy like Hartenstein,
though, man, you got some pretty tough guys down there in New York. They're built to take the tough stuff for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they probably was able to handle a little bit better than obviously Brunson having his pops on the staff help. But see, Mitchell Robinson is never really fully going to be healthy. Injury, he's always going to be an injury away from missing, a month or 3 months or something like that. So Hartenstein definitely has value to the Knicks. I don't think that's a piece they'll be looking to get rid of.
Do you think the Knicks think that Mitchell Robinson will be, because he just got back from his injury? Do you think that they think, well, okay, Hartenstein's doing great, but next year after a full rehab, we think Mitchell's going to be the guy? Or do you think what we see now is that's who the Knicks are?
I think what you see now is what the Knicks are, because here's the thing: Mitchell Robinson is always the next injury waiting to happen. Yeah. That's kind of what he's been throughout his career. A big man like that. He is. If Mitchell Robinson was a guy that can give you 75 games a season, he would be an all-star. You know what I'm saying? Because he's a very important piece. You win playoff series with guys like Mitchell Robinson. You saw how he dominated those dudes in Cleveland last year. Yeah. They couldn't even get a rebound when he was out there. At times, he's the second best player on the court, but you just can't depend on him because you never know what his health situation is going to be. So that makes Hartenstein very a valuable part, and he's become a fan favorite.
Well, a lot of people also asking me what I think about Mitchell Robinson. My thing with him has always been, I think he's a monster, but like you said, the injuries. But could you see him, if you look at the Memphis Grizzlies over the last few years, right? Every center we've had, whether it's Steven Adams, whether it's
my man JV. I'm like, why did they get rid of JV? I'm a big JV fan.
Right. Whether it's Adams, whether it's JV, regardless, none of our centers have played no more than like 25 to 27 minutes per game. We don't have heavy mileage on our centers. But that being said, could you see Mitchell Robinson being a guy the Grizzlies could use instead of playing 30 plus minutes to play 25 to 30 here in a lesser role? And that's probably not a close game. Yeah.
That would be perfect role for him, to be 100% honest with you. And especially with the way that Ja plays, with the dribble penetration and how he gets to the rim. That's a good cleanup guy right there when it comes to the offensive glass and stuff like that. So, no, Mitchell, he would be a fantastic fit. I just don't know the availability, but he would be excellent on the Memphis Grizzlies.
Now, I know that you said you moved to South Carolina now. We talked about probably definitely the queen of South Carolina right now, South Carolina basketball, Dawn Staley. But you also got two kings of South Carolina basketball that are also becoming kings of Memphis basketball, and John Morant and Gigi Jackson. Let's talk about the younger of those two first. Gigi Jackson, rookie year this year, breakout season. A guy who we thought had a lot of promise, was kind of forced to get into the action a lot sooner this year because of injuries or whatever with the Grizzlies. What are your thoughts when you see young man Gigi Jackson, who also played for the Gamecocks as well?
Yeah, no, definitely a ton of talent. Now, here's an interesting thing. It didn't work. You didn't see that in South Carolina last year. And I think people actually got on Lamont Parrish about that, because I think Gigi left organization. Gigi left the program not too happy with what was going on in South Carolina. And I think he gave a couple bad reviews on the program as well. With that being said, we know what kind of baller he is, what kind of hooper he is. Definitely a grounded young man. You've seen the story recently about him playing the drums in the church and stuff like that. Yeah. He's a hell of a basketball player. And then, when the Morants get with him and they take him under that wing, and, you saw what happened this year. Another thing, Sain, basketball is coming from the fantasy world, right? And the gaming world. Basketball is the sport where the last guy on the bench, if giving the opportunity, can play just as good as some of the guys in the starting lineup. You know what I'm saying? And then you really saw that with Memphis's rotation because of all the injuries this year. And when I saw that Gigi was going to get a chance, I was like, well, I do know one thing. He's going to be able to put the ball in the basket. And you saw how humble he was and stuff like that. So definitely you have a nice Carolina connection down there in Memphis. So y'all may have to play 2 games a season versus the Charlotte Hornets. Speaking of which, have you been hearing these rumors about the Grizzlies going back to the East?
Yeah.
I don't want to part of that. I always would love to see you guys in the same division as Atlanta and Miami.
Yeah, exactly. I think we would do well in the East or whatever. And maybe I'm just being silly for saying this, but I've kind of got accustomed to the teams we play, the time of day we play. I don't want to be rushing home to watch a game at 6 o'clock. Like I think I'm good on that. Man. Like, I think I'm good.
That's right, because if you play in Atlanta, That's going to be a 7:05 start, a 6:05 for you. Yeah, that's tough right there. Because 7 o'clock is when I'm just putting my feet up. You know what I'm saying? Grabbing the remote and getting ready for the night's activities. So yeah, I could imagine you wanting to stay in the Western Conference.
Yeah. All right, Corey. Let's get to the fun stuff. We talked about Don Staley. We talked about Gigi Jackson, who I think is definitely going to be a great player for the Memphis Grizzlies, star level player for the team. Now I know you're a guy that gets you excited. John Morant is your guy for sure. You got some ties to him for a long time. I know you've been a big fan of John Morant. You were telling me about John Morant his rookie year. You know what I mean? So
no doubt.
Before I could even really get to experience how good he was. So with all that being said, Ja, of course, had the return from the suspension. Was out for the rest of the season with an injury. What does 2024-25 John Morant look like in the NBA?
Oh, it's going to be very interesting. It's going to definitely be a comeback tour. It's going to be a revenge tour, as our girl Raven Johnson was saying. Now, I think you get a healthy, motivated, extremely motivated John Morant this upcoming 24-25 season. You see, Sain, it's like I was telling my son earlier this week. I have a 23-year-old son. And can you curse here?
Yeah.
Well, when you do stupid shit, stupid shit happens. When you're not living right, stupid stuff happens. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And listen, I don't have to tell y'all, Ja wasn't living right. You know what I'm saying? And when you're not living right, stupid stuff happens. You look at the incident that happened in the driveway. Was that an overkill? Sure, it was. But it shows that you weren't living right. You feel what I'm saying? So you have that aspect of it. And now it's kind of been a shift to keep the main thing the main thing. And the main thing that got you and everybody here is your ability to play basketball and be marketable and be a star in Memphis and these things. And I think that message has gotten home. It's unfortunate the injury happened, but that just helped slow it down. I think we could be looking at a historic season. I think this is the MVP candidate season coming up for John Morant. Now, what's so interesting is in the Western Conference this year, nobody's talking about this. You had a team win 46 games and not make the playoffs. That's unheard of. So now Memphis comes into a West where you almost got to win 50 games to get a playoff spot. You feel what I'm saying? So it's going to be very difficult, but I think we see the best of John Morant. Now, the question I have for you, because like you guys are there, right?
Yeah.
And you're not a big fan of the head coach. And I've always been told how he's this great, innovative head coach, right? But you're my man on the scene, and you're telling me something different. You know what I'm saying? So what's it going to be? Is he going to be the coach that is the coach when Memphis lifts the Larry O'Brien trophy, or is it going to be somebody else?
Well, history says that he won't be. I mean, history suggests that he won't be. You know what I mean? It's just what it is. Like most of the time, that just doesn't happen. The guy who starts off with a young team like that doesn't make it to the other side with them. You know what I mean? That's typically how it goes down, including Amari Jackson, like we talked about at the start of the segment. It's typically not how it goes down. He's one of those guys, man, that like I think he's a great like motivator of the team, and the guys kind of get behind him. His in-game decision-making gets kind of wonky to me, and that kind of shows off a lot during the playoffs, especially when those in-game adjustments turn into game-to-game adjustments that aren't being made either. You know what I mean? Like where he makes an adjustment in game 3 that probably should have got made in the second half of game 1. You know what I mean? Like those type of things. But you know, it's a show and prove year for him too, man. I mean, it's going to be hard to see how the whole thing goes down. But I'm glad you said that because that leads me into my next question for you as we slide over talking about NBA playoffs here. My man Corey Parson, gambling guru, all sport expert. I know he said he's doing some things with the Athletic, if I'm not mistaken. Got some thing going as well as your radio station there in South Carolina. But as far as coaching is concerned, you look at this Boston-Miami series, right? And you see a Miami team with no Jimmy Butler. Team definitely should have gotten destroyed last night against that Boston team. At home, on the road, you pull out a win because you've got one of those great coaches that was good 10 years ago as well. You know what I mean?
No doubt he was.
Right. And one of those guys who stood the test of time. And you see Boston who's doing things with the Joe Mazzulla. And you just ask yourself, because I'm one of those guys who says the coach is really not a big deal. Because that's my thing with the Grizzlies too, is that no matter how good or bad Taylor Jenkins is, I don't think he's bad enough where he can rob a NBA championship level team of winning the championship. Most coaches I've seen some really Scott Vogel, won a championship with the Lakers. I've seen some pretty average to bad coaches, win championships. But with that Joe Mazzulla thing, seeing how Boston lost that game last night to Miami, it changes the calculus for me and what I think that team can be this year. Even because it's been pretty much understood. People say, okay, well, Boston's coming out of the East. I don't know, man, because you're gonna have teams that can give you a whole lot more than what this Miami team gave you, and you lost that game at home against this Miami team. You don't have not just no Jimmy Butler, no Terry Rozier. I don't know who was out there. You know what I mean? Tyler Hero and some dudes were out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no
and you
doubt.
lost. So this is the playoffs, man. You only get 7 games each series, right? And you lost one that you should not have lost the other night. How important do you think the coaching matchup is going to be in this matchup, in this series going so far with Boston and Miami, and not just then, but throughout the entire playoffs with this Boston
It's
team?
very few people that can outcoach Eric Spoelstra,
Yeah.
so you kind of have to outplay them. You know what I mean? That's the MO right there. Now, with that being said, we still don't know what happened so terrible in Boston that they had to fire Udoka. We still don't know.
Yeah.
The organization could have kept that whole thing under wraps and kept their coach, right?
That's a very good point, man.
Nothing never came out to suggest, we had to fire this guy.
Nothing even suggested that he even had to go public. It went public.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The Celtics made it go public. I can remember Matt Barnes being on something and saying, I heard what happened, and he should have gone. Matt Barnes could be a plant also now. You know what I'm saying? Now, with that being said, I was saying this all off season, right? I don't want to be that guy, but I'm going to be that guy.
Yeah.
As a person who has watched plenty of New York Knicks basketball, I was saying, hey, listen, Porzingis is going to be good in the regular season, but in the moments where it matters most, I would worry about him. And so far this year, he hasn't disappointed. And just as I was starting to turn the page, I was like, Miami found the weak link. They put Porzingis in the pick and roll. They made Porzingis think, and he went out and he shot 1 for 9. And I was like, yeah, Miami's figured it out. Porzingis is the weak link. And if you can get Porzingis in a bad spot, which to me, I think is easy to do, I think then you see the Boston Celtics teams that we've seen for each of the last couple years. Listen, I made a wager already, a Nuggets Celtics finals. I still think we eventually get that. But the Miami Heat is going to give the Boston Celtics a run for their money. It's on now. Like Jimmy said, in his meme, don't let us get one. Well, they got one, and now it's going back to Miami. And this is a place where Boston, not a house of horrors, but now we got a series. Series don't start until somebody loses at home. We got a series in that one.
Yeah, for sure. I did mention that you are a big gambling guy. I know you said that you had Denver and Boston going to the NBA Finals. With that being said, were there any other bets that you were looking at, not particularly who was going to the finals, but just throughout the playoffs that you can kind of see, that's holding up the way I thought it was going to hold up?
To me this year, I think it was all about seeding and the way the seeds fell. And I think what we're going to end up seeing is to me the most, how can I put it? I think my best, the wager I felt the strongest about was the finals exact match, Nuggets Celtics. The other one that I was pretty good on, and this is what I'm doing, and this is for sports bettors out there.
And you still see Boston coming out of the East,
still see Boston coming out of the East. But this is what I did. I wagered on the Los Angeles Clippers to win the West, right? So now I'm not thinking that now I do think the Clippers are going to give the Nuggets a run for their money, but my wager is once the Clippers get to the conference finals, then I can come back and bet Denver, who I think will be their opponent. This way, I'm just making some kind of money out that series. It's like, a gambling guru type thing right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are my two main wagers. I like the Clipper team. I think the Clipper team was put together in the summer of 2009, and my man Chris Hayes dropped the bomb late at night that night, and then they went into the bubble, and that was a team that the bubble experience didn't go well for.
2019, you mean 2019?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, 19 going into 20. The 20.
Yeah, you said 2009.
My bad. 2019 going into 2020, and I think that was probably their best opportunity until now. Listen, I didn't think when they were saying, when Ty Lue was like, "Oh, we want James Harden," I was like, "Is this guy crazy?" Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Right. And then when Harden got there and it started working, I was like, "Oh, wait a minute. This is Harden, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Russell Westbrook. This sounds like a team from 2008." Yeah. But now I'm watching this team and I'm like, wait a minute. I kind of like this team. I like the coach. I like how they're playing. It seems like they're all bought into the greater good. I think the Clippers are a real deal. I would love to see this team play the Lakers. That's not going to happen because the Lakers will be home by the end of the week. But, I mean, listen, here's the thing, right? The Clippers are those teams like the Brooklyn Nets. If they was to win a championship, they would get booed in their hometown. Yeah. See what I'm saying? The Nets' biggest haters are in New York, and the Clippers' biggest haters are in Los Angeles. Yep. So those are tough situations to be in. But I do think this Clipper team is legit. Probably my favorite team in the postseason. So now they in 1-1 going to Dallas. I think they win the series.
So you think the Clippers get out of this Maverick series?
Yeah, I think they get out the Maverick series.
And then they would get Oklahoma City next round.
And I think the experience will take Oklahoma City.
Let me ask you this. Go back to the Dallas series for a second. If Dallas loses this series, do we start having conversations about Luka a little bit?
No, they need to have conversations about Mark Cuban and what he is doing to get the right pieces on this roster. How can you not build around Luka?
I can't stand. I get it. He's an all-generational talent, but his game. He's a game stopper to the highest degree to me. Like if he's the guy on your team, which he has to be because he's that good. No, I just don't see anybody else having the oxygen around him to breathe like that. You see Kyrie.
He has to be the second best player on a team. It's hard to find the first best player if Luka's the second best. You know what I mean?
I agree with you, and I just think that he is obviously going to be the best player. His style of play is not conducive to winning basketball to me.
I agree.
His numbers are empty.
It's kind of how I felt about the Kentucky Wildcats during the college basketball season. This is a lot of dribble and step back threes. You know what I'm saying? And you'll see a lot of hero ball with the Mavericks. So that's one of my problems with them as well.
Yeah. Something I've been big about, Corey, is my hatred of all the over-the-hill older players in the NBA. Want to get these guys up out of here to make room for the new guys, right? When you look at a team like the Lakers, man, who Denver's just got them in shambles, a team who their best player is 39, 40 years old, LeBron James. Yeah. Look at Golden State, who did not make the playoffs this year. Their best player is, 36, 37 years old, definitely aging, Klay Thompson. Is this the last year? You see Phoenix, they're down 0-2 with Kevin Durant, the three faces of the NBA, Steph Curry, LeBron James, Kevin Durant. Is this it? Is this the last year those three teams are good? Or can you see some type of reclamation project for any of those teams going forward to make them
so interesting, like how smart we are. Yesterday, I did a YouTube short on the changing faces of the NBA. How Curry, LeBron, and Durant are no longer the guys. Right now, check this out. The Phoenix thing is disgusting. The new owner came in there and immediately ruined that culture.
Yeah.
Like, why would you bring Bradley Beal? Yeah, why would you bring Bradley Beal to mess this up? Yeah. Bradley Beal is going to make $50-something million and not give you nowhere close to that production. Yep. Kevin Durant and Booker are still ballers. You ruined your depth. You got rid of Monty. You destroyed the culture. I kind of saw that coming. Golden State, Sain, when
1 year too much. 1 year too much.
At the end of the year, when the Lakers eliminated them last year, and Steve Kerr came to the bench, he finally said it. When Draymond punched Jordan Poole, we were a different team from then on out. And I was like, you're 100% correct. In that same press conference, he said, if we don't have Draymond back, we're not a championship contender. That's when Bob Myers left. And that's when I was like, oh, it's over now. Yeah. Why would you bring Draymond Green back? You knew what he was.
Not just bring him back. You signed him to another big contract.
Yes, another big contract. Yeah. And I'm like, and then that's why when Myers left, I was like, because Myers don't want Draymond there. He know he can't build around Draymond. Yeah. And then you bring in Dunleavy, who is nothing but really a puppet for the ownership. which is really a puppet for Steve Kerr and Steph Curry. Right. And then you saw what happened. Don't get me wrong, 46 wins is nothing to sneeze at, but still, this team, and now you know what they're going to do? They're going to bring Clay back too. If he would take less money, they're going to bring him back too, and they're going to roll that whole team out there. They're going to run it back out there again. This is a championship core, and Draymond Green will be suspended by the time we get to Thanksgiving. So that's going to happen again. And when you look at the Lakers, bro, they got who was it that played
about Thanksgiving is crazy, Corey.
It's the truth though. But bro, who played somebody? The Lakers be having dudes in their starting lineup that score 0.
Yeah. It's
crazy. And I'm just like, you keep rolling this team out there, and LeBron is just sitting back like, oh, well, what does LeBron want to do? Because, listen, the organization leaked it that the Warriors tried to trade for him. They came to LeBron with the offer, and LeBron said no. So what is he? I think LeBron is just a helicopter dad now.
Yeah. It does seem like I don't even know what.
See where Duquesne is rumored to be Duquesne the next spot for Bronny.
Yeah, it said the coach is throwing up the powder like LeBron.
Listen, I was hoping the Knicks was the next place for Bronny just to make LeBron mad.
Just make a hard decision.
Yeah.
So do you think the NBA is in good hands though? Like with it looking like all 3 of those guys, their teams aren't going to be championship level teams. Do you think that the John Morant in Memphis and SGA in Oklahoma City and Anthony Edwards in Minnesota, those type of teams, Nikola Jokic in Denver, do you think that the league is in good hands?
Yeah,
I'm just staying in the West right now, but I'm just saying, do you think the league
I think the league's in good hands. I think there's good young stars. I'll be honest with you. I think if you was to really pin somebody down in the back room and they'd be like, we don't really have that many American stars in this league no more. I think that is probably something that may be on their mind. The other thing is saying, listen, and nobody is more at odds with Clay Travis than I am, but the NBA does have a viewership problem. Nobody watches the NBA no more. You know what I'm saying? Well, you got diehards and you got some casual fans that pop up during the playoffs and, your own fan base and stuff like that. But NBA ratings are going down while ratings in the rest of the sports world is going up. And I can't seem to put a finger on it. So, and because I love the game more than ever, you know what I mean? The talent and the athletes and stuff like that. But
super fun, yeah.
I think the game's in good hands, but I think if you are in Adam Silver's shoes, I think you're kind of worried about what's going on. You tried this thing this year with, 82 game mentality, and it still didn't really help.
Yeah.
The in-season tournament, it's like, it didn't really help. So, there's no Jordan, but you still got big celebrities in this league. So
I got a theory for that. Go ahead. I'm gonna tell you what my theory for that is.
You still got big celebrities in this league. I just, I don't know why it's happening. What do you think?
My theory is I think the thing that the NBA thinks is the thing may not be the thing the way they think it's the thing. That would make sense.
Making the All-Star game East versus West again was probably the best idea.
Yeah, exactly. But the point I'm trying to make is I think that we've tried to make, the NBA is LeBron James. NBA is Steph Curry. The NBA is Kevin Durant. I think that like a lot of even diehard fans are kind of tired of that whole era. Like myself. Like I'm tired of thinking stuff is rigged. I'm tired of seeing the Lakers shoot 50 free throws in the game. I'm tired of, you know what I mean? I'm tired of like guys hopping from team to team and all that. I mean, I think a lot of stuff that people say is bad about the NBA are all characteristics of the guys that they're throwing out in front of us, man. You know what I mean? Like for real. Like I think the guys that they're forcing to be the faces of the league, those guys might not be as popping to the fans as the NBA thinks they are. You know what I mean? And I think
especially 20 years later.
Yeah, and I think that when you see, I had this conversation about the whole faces of the league thing. I think the fact that like if I'm in Memphis, right? Our app is kind of trash. Bally Sports is ass. But in most cases, I can watch a Grizzly-centric view of the NBA and not really have to watch anything but us, right? I can just be zoned in. I can watch 82 Grizzly games, and my NBA experience is awesome. Same thing in any small market where you're talking about, New Orleans, you're talking about OKC, wherever these are. You can have your own view of the league. I don't have to tune into TNT and watch LeBron and them. Like I can watch whatever view the NBA. I can customize the NBA to be whatever it is to me.
Your story is the Memphis Grizzlies,
right? And if you get on Twitter, you'll see fan bases who they have a very skewed view of the NBA, and it's based on their team. And I think that fans are appreciating the loyalty of guys. You know what I mean? You have guys who, like a John Morant, looks like he wants to be in Memphis for a long time. Or I think the days of where there's no player loyalty and players are jumping from team to team and teaming up, you don't even see rumblings of that, man. You saw Anthony Edwards begin the season say, yeah, they got Kevin Durant, but you know what? We got Jay McDaniels, and that's his guy. He's supporting his teammate. And you're seeing more guys who are like, no, man, I'm not trying to team up with nobody. I'm going to be the man here in Minnesota. I'm going to be the man here. I'm going to be the man in Memphis. I'm going to, and I'm going to lead this team to a championship. I think you're seeing more of that type of mentality. And I think those guys kind of got to get out of the way. A lot of guys that create a lot of the bad narratives on the NBA, they're still around. The Kevin Durant who loses in the playoff series to the Warriors, and the next season he's playing for the Warriors. And we all know reasons why people hate LeBron James and reasons why people hate Steph Curry. I know those guys are great players, but I think the NBA, like I said, the thing that they thought was a thing is not the thing the way they thought it was a thing. And I think that's led to poor viewership, man. For sure. I think people are kind of ready for this next wave of guys to get in here and just do their thing.
I know I am. I'm looking forward to it, and you know what I'm saying. And listen, we don't really have that big name draft class like we've had in the past. You know what I'm saying? So you don't really have a big star like a Wembanyama or whoever you want to call a big star coming into the league right now, or at least from this draft class. Yeah. But if you look in the pipeline, what's coming, you know what I'm saying? I really think that there's some really skilled young ball players out there. So I do believe the league is in good hands. But, I know there's conversations about, okay, what's going on with this television ratings.
Yeah, Corey, I have to ask you a very ESPN type question, and I feel terrible. I feel terrible doing it.
Oh, it's a Dallas Cowboy question. What?
No, it's not a Dallas. Right.
Right.
I'm gonna give you your pick of 3 players, and I want you to tell me who is the guy in this next generation of the NBA. Is it Ja Morant, Anthony Edwards, or Victor Wembanyama?
I would go. Don't include. I'm gonna go Ja. So let's remove Ja. So if you put a third person there, I don't know, Halliburton or somebody like that. I think what Victor Wembanyama can do. Like I've seen some moves this year. This guy's really kind of what they made him out to be. He's playing San Antonio now. Obviously, I'm talking to Memphis Grizzlies fans, another small market. I think it's Anthony. I would go, if I go Wembanyama, Edwards, I'm going to go Anthony Edwards. It's kind of like, I really don't want to get into too deep of hot water right now, but it's kind of like how you see these debates with Caitlin Clark and Aja Wilson. Well, you have to hit the genetic jackpot to be Victor Wembanyama. Anthony Edwards is a little bit relatable to kids and the average fan. Whereas you kind of got to hit the genetic jackpot to be Aja Wilson. Well, Caitlin Clark could be considered more marketable to the average fan and to kids because you can go in your driveway, put up a hoop, and shoot 100 threes and eventually get good. You ain't never going to be LeBron James. You see what I'm saying? Right. So I think you ain't never going to be Victor Wembanyama. You're not going to grow to be a 7'7" Frenchman with handles. But you can probably emulate Anthony Edwards. You feel what I'm saying? So I think that makes a difference, and especially when it comes to kids.
So you say you're removing Ja. Why again? You say you're removing Ja from it?
I'm going to be biased and say it's Ja Morant. You know,
because you're
going to be the face of the league. They're trying to make him the face of the league. He has the Nike shoe. He has a Nike contract. He is, homegrown. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then and he's electric. He's a superstar. You saw it when he came back. Let me tell you, when a sports story make the shade room, that's when you know you made it. And when Ja came back and hit that game winner, that was on the shade room. That's mainstream media right there.
I've had my stuff go like my stuff that went viral with Ja went to places. I was like, all right, this is crazy. Yeah, he's definitely a super marketable player. But I'm excited to see it, man. I'm ready for the next wave. I'm ready to get LeBron ass out of here. I'm ready to get Steph Curry ass out of here. KD, yo nappy head ass. I'm sure that LeBron and Steph are going to find a way to get on the same team next year.
They could have did it this year. It's interesting that LeBron. So interesting that
I don't believe that, man. I don't believe that was a real thing. Like I think that I don't think that was real. I think that if that could have happened, it would have happened. I don't think that was fake. I think that whole thing of LeBron not wanting to go there was fake.
Okay,
there's a lie.
Because my thing is, why would the Lakers leak that?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? That's what.
What would they take? And then what are you taking back? Like that's the thing too. Like if Golden State was to do that, right? If Golden State was to
that's why the Lakers leaked it, because Klay was a part of the deal, and they probably wanted Klay to feel some kind of way. That's why. That's why they leaked it.
Bro. Like, I'm not.
I mean, what are the Warriors trade? Kuminga? Is that it?
Nothing.
Right now?
Like Kuminga. That's it. Like the team's not getting better, bro. Like you
would you take Klay for a playoff run?
Who would I take him?
He's washed, man. He's washed
for a playoff run. I'm not talking about to shoot threes in the playoffs. What if you don't think it's one more game 6 Klay left? Like, man, you don't think Klay Thompson can strap it up?
I would roll Luke Kennard out there before
give me Jake LaRavia, man.
Give me Jake LaRavia in the corner.
Yo, son, what happened to Zaire Williams?
Our guy Zaire, he got hurt again.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm like, where? I haven't seen Zaire.
I don't think he'll be back next year, though.
I kind of have a feeling he won't either.
Yeah. I think if it's a numbers crunch, I think they'll do some things to get him out of here, for sure.
No doubt.
Well, y'all, this is my man, Corey Parson, man, one of my favorite people to talk to. We're out of the studio right now for the off season, so I get to get all my out-of-town buddies on the show with me, man. This is your first time on the Anthony Sain show, but I appreciate you coming out with me, bro.
Hey, good times, appreciate it, and good luck everybody down there in Memphis, you know what I'm saying? And listen, next year, this time, expect the Memphis Grizzlies to be one of them top seeds in the Western Conference, and get ready. It could be a parade in Memphis.
Yes, sir. There's a parade inside my city.
There we go.
All right, bro. I appreciate you, Corey. When we come back, y'all, it's going to be the 3-pointer here on the Anthony Sain show. See you guys.
The UFC pre-fight show, the pre-weigh-in show, we're ranking all the Centennial cards and the matches that were in those Centennial cards. 3 out of the 4 of them had Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway as the #1 fight in all the 100, 200, 300 cards before it happened.
Yeah.
Like, because everybody knew. Like, everybody knew this fight has no choice but to be total badass.
What I can never get enough of Max Holloway with. He probably had won that fight as they got into the 5th round. And he started, he probably had at least a split decision. Probably. Yeah. Just based on strikes and volume and how he was going about his work. But when Justin said at the end of the fight, hey, let's get in the middle. I'm going to try to knock your ass out. Max said, okay, I'll try to knock your ass out too. And he got the better of him.
Tune into On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Anthony Sain show. Shout out again to my man Corey Parson, man. Just a great guy to talk to when it comes.
Awesome interview, man. That was fun.
NBA. Yeah, I want to talk some NFL draft with him, but I really don't give a damn. Just be honest with y'all. But yeah, so we gonna keep this thing rolling, man, with the 3-pointer, man. We talk about 3 things that are going on in the world of sports. Kenny, I was on the way. I had to take my car to the mechanic today, man. I'm leaving the mechanic shop. I see a tweet release, man, about a movie that I knew was coming, but I didn't really know the whole gist of it, or that it was getting ready to come out. FX released an official trailer for the Donald Sterling movie, which is basically a Los Angeles Clippers movie, right? Yeah.
Stop it.
And you ain't know nothing about this, right?
I have no clue what you're talking about.
All right. Okay. I'm going to give you some. There are 2 main characters that are in the movie, right? And I want you to guess who would play these characters, right? All right. One of the main characters is Donald Sterling. It's the Donald Sterling movie, right? It shows him about how he got caught up with his black girlfriend. It just shows how much of a racist piece of shit Donald Sterling was, right? Don't look it up, bro. Don't look it up. Don't look it up.
I'm looking at it. I'm looking for a certain actor.
No, man. No, you can't look at nothing, bro. I want you to guess. All right. So who do you think would play Donald Sterling? Like rich, super rich white man, snobby, racist. Who would play Donald Sterling?
There's a guy that did you ever see the show called Succession?
No.
There's a guy who his name is Brian Cox. That if I showed you, I'll show you his picture. This dude. Hold on. I gotta find it real quick. Hold on.
Oh man.
Brian Cox. He would be the guy that I would think would be a perfect
Donald Sterling, right?
Donald Sterling, but it's this dude right here.
Brian,
can you see that picture? Hold
not
on.
really. I'll look it up myself. Brian Cox, right? But what if I told you that? What about? Yeah, I know what that is. What if I told you that Al Bundy will be playing Donald Sterling?
Are you serious? Oh, that's gonna be crazy. Oh
yes,
my god.
Brian Cox will be a great Donald Sterling. Yeah, had to double check. All right.
Al Bundy's playing Donald Sterling. That is wild. What a wild turn of events.
Doc Rivers.
Okay.
This is an academy. I don't know if he's an academy. He may be more black famous. He might be more black famous than white famous, but
because he's done this already.
Doc Rivers now, super big time black actor, bro. Like mega, like major movies actor is playing Doc.
I got a perfect one for him. I got a perfect guy because he's already played a character, a former athlete.
Who?
Cuba Gooding Jr.
No. What about I told you Lawrence Fishburne is playing?
Let's go. That's perfect. That's perfect. That's perfect. That's wild.
Oh man. This movie, like I said, man, it's coming out on Hulu. I think it comes out sometime in June, early June.
That is wild. Who's playing Adam? Who's gonna play Adam Silver's alien looking ass?
I don't know, but they could have put that shit straight to Tubi, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. And they said some rappers playing Chris Paul. I don't know.
Oh my
man,
God,
bro, I'm dying laughing, bro. But if you think I ain't watching this shit, it's cause just to see how fucked up, I messed up an NBA owner could be, bro. Like, I want to just show me how racist these rich ass white men are. They showed him like going in the locker room, sizing guys up and saying like, "I'm your owner." Like, "Nah, you ain't my owner." Like, it was like, wow. You know, they said he would come in there and like talk to the players like they were like a piece of cattle or something. Like,
wow.
Their measurements and gawk over their bodies and all kind of just creepy, weirdo stuff, right? So yeah, man, that's the Donald Sterling movie is coming soon to Hulu, courtesy of FX, and the trailer is out now. Make sure y'all go take a look at it.
I gotta go watch that. I've not even heard of that. That is crazy. That'll be wild.
Also, in NBA news, we got our NBA six-man of the year and our most improved player award. Nas Reed, shout out to him for getting the six-man award. I think he definitely deserves that. Tight race, man, for that thing. I want to say he only won by like 10 points or something, like 10 total points. And so Nas Reed won that. I got a lot of Grizzly fans like as well. Yeah, but this one, of course, Tyrese Maxey winning most improved player. I'm so done with that award, man. They've been trying to mess this award up for a long time.
They tried to give it to Ja last year. What are we talking about?
Now the year, I'll tell you, the year they started, I knew it was going to get weird. Steph Curry had like a monster year, and the nerds were saying, should Steph Curry get it again? Because he was even better the next year. And people were saying, so should Steph Curry get most improved player? And he didn't get it. And then Luka came around. They tried to do the same thing with him. Like, should Luka get, like, dude was an MVP candidate last year. What are you talking about, bro? So it started getting goofy then they gave it to Ja. And it's been horrible ever since then, as far as that goes. But yeah, shout out to
who won it? Who won that one?
Tyrese Maxey.
Oh, Tyrese Maxey, yeah.
It was doing 20 points a game last year, bro.
Yeah. Isn't that the one where Dante was like a minute away from winning it? Like he could have, like,
well, he would have been a candidate, but he probably wouldn't have won it. And I think he was a candidate for six man of the year, not most improved.
Oh, most improved. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. You're right.
All right, number 2, man. This story I really love to see. Reggie Bush is getting his Heisman Trophy back. You guys remember he lost that because of illegal recruiting. He was it was under investigation for getting paid to go to South Carolina, of course. It's a different day in college football, man, NIL. and having him suspended for that at this point seems absolutely ridiculous. So they did the right thing. Reggie Bush gets his Heisman Trophy back. He's one of those guys, man, that was such a household name and so super marketable. That dude would have been a beast in today's NIL era. Just like you think about guys like him, Tim Tebow, what's the guy's name? Johnny Manziel. These guys who are just like household names, whether you watch college sports or not, man. He definitely would in this era would have been, because he's one of those guys like David Beckham, right? The soccer player, who was like he wasn't even the best player in the world when he was in the NFL, but everybody knew who he was. He was dating a Kardashian. Like it is only right that man gets his Heisman Trophy back for sure.
It's dumb. You talked about the changing environment, and it's almost like it's almost Reggie Bush not having his Heisman back, or not having his Heisman based on the recruiting, whatever they want to call it, is the same thing to me on a much smaller scale of having dudes in jail for 30 years for weed charges.
Right. And then
right?
the thing
like,
is,
it's freaking legal everywhere now. Get these mugs out of jail, man. What are we talking about?
And then the thing is, even if he got paid to play, even if he shouldn't have been in South Carolina, I'm sorry, Southern USC, Southern California.
Right.
No matter where you went, he still would have been cold. Like, so what does it matter? Like how he got there? He still was extremely cold, man. So like I said, Reggie Bush, good ass player on NCAA football, whatever year that was.
Yeah.
One of the most probably still biggest, most recognizable faces, names, just football, period. Good to see he got the Heisman Trophy back, man. It's a good story.
Still probably to this day one of my favorite championship games in college football was that Texas USC game when it was Vince Young versus Reggie Bush. Oh my gosh, man. Incredible. Yeah, man, for sure. So it's good. Like I said, great story that Reggie Bush gets his Heisman Trophy back. Number 3, Kenny Stubblefield. Tiger basketball recruiting update. We got a man child in town, supposed to be coming to town. Now he's not coming to town. Now he may be coming later on. Give us an update on that, as well as this Bamba kid who's from Villanova. Well, they're supposed to. It was announced, I think, by multiple places. I don't know who had it first, so I would get confirmation if I knew who had it first. But
you gotta be careful, man. Hey,
I know. I'll get roasted, right? TJ Bamba, a transfer from Villanova, kind of a small forward, 6 foot, 6'7", 205, 215 kid, bigger kid. Was going to be in town alongside 16-year-old, soon to be 17-year-old senior who I think he just reclassified to the 24 class. Kid named Jaden Quantafane. I don't even know how you say his name.
Something like that.
Quaintance or something like that. Yeah, Jaden Quaintance. He's a 5-star big. I don't know a whole lot about him. I think I've seen footage of him. I have been told by some in the Discord that he's as good as Jalen Duren was when Jalen was in high school. I call bullshit on that. I think Jalen Duren was a man-child from the time he was 14, 15 on. This Jaden Quaintance kid is good, but he's also 16 years old. And from what I've gathered, he had committed to Kentucky. Obviously, John Calipari left and went to Arkansas.
Right.
Arkansas and Kentucky both tried to get back in with him, and his asking price, the NIL asking price, was way too high for those guys. They were like, "No, we're good." Now it's down between Louisville and Memphis. And I'll be frank with you, man. Like, if the numbers that are floating around the internet are true, his dad's been on multiple different radio stations over the last couple of days talking about it. If the numbers are true, I would save my money if I was Memphis. I think the kid has the potential to be awesome, but I just don't see that level of investment in a kid who's going to have to develop over a couple of year stretch. I really want this TJ Bamba kid. I think TJ Bamba would be an awesome addition to this team.
Don't comp him.
Yeah.
Don't give him a comp. Don't give him
I'm not comping. No, I'm not comping anybody, but I think he'd be an awesome addition to the team. I do think I've seen a lot of people say things like, well, if you get TJ Bamba, you can't have David Jones. And I just don't think that's true. David has until May 1st to either withdraw from the NBA draft or stay in. And so,
oh, wow. That's like in a few days.
Yeah, it's in a few days. So we're down to a week in terms of knowing kind of where he's going to go. So it'll happen quick. And I think it's going to be a good, whether they have DJ back or not, I don't know. But if you add TJ, I think you're in a good shape for the Tigers roster.
And I'll say this, man, I'm excited about this Bamba kid because he seems like, classic 3-and-D guy. Somebody said he's one of the better shooters in college basketball or something like that.
Well, the comp that I have for him,
here it goes.
No, he's a good shooter. I mean, I think he's not as consistent as, I think he's a decent shooter. But he's a big body, a big live body. He's a
Mikal Bridges.
Yeah. Well, listen, hey, you want a comp? There's your comp, Mikal Bridges.
I'm straight, bro.
But no, I like the way he plays, man. I think he adds a level of size to the backcourt that is going to be needed.
Yeah.
I think that You got a 6 foot Tyrese Hunter and a 6'3" PJ Haggerty, who's more than likely 6'2", and that's your starting backcourt. So having that kind of wing depth with some size to it, and especially a guy who's as uber athletic as he is, I think he's a good fit for Memphis.
Yeah, like I said the other day, man, I like the direction Penny's going in.
Absolutely,
he seems like he's getting guys who are just scrappy guys that can defend, that can knock down shots, and he's got his playmakers too. I think by the time Penny finalizes this roster, man, puts the cherry on top, I think that this is going to be. I think it's going to be a pretty good roster. Just looking at how he's trying to build things up so far. So I'm pretty excited about how Tiger.
And again, I would caution all Tiger fans to not go overboard with when these things start to come out, when this roster is finalized. I would honestly, like, at this point where we're at in terms of a fan base, cap your expectations. We're not talking top 10. We're not talking this. We're talking about let's win the AAC this year.
Let's be the best team in the AAC. Let's not have to worry about selection Sunday.
100%.
Yeah, like, let's have this thing wrapped up in January or February for sure.
And if this roster is what I think it's going to be, I think they're going to be far and away the best team in the AAC. The question is can they produce it on the floor? So
yeah, man. So I'm down for it. As far as that, the acquaintance kid or whatever his name is, the JQ kid, 16 years old, and you're talking about going to be playing college basketball in a few months. I can't see. I'm sorry, bro. Like I don't care how good. I mean, he's not. You know, if he was that level of talent, I think we'd be hearing more about him before now. You know what I mean? As far as being a guy who's ready to play right now, whatever. And he's a guy who's probably not going to be ready for college basketball year one, and then he's gone, and you just invested whatever amount of money into him NIL-wise. So
I mean, you saw Jalen Duren when Jalen was a senior, a sophomore, junior, senior in high school. There was just this level of
he looked like a grown ass man. This kid looks like a
grown ass man who is like, man, like you see him play, and you're like, damn, dude, like if you develop the way that you're developing now, you're going to be a phenomenal college basketball player. And he was. With Jaden Quaintance, I think there is a little bit of like kind of seeing through rose-colored glasses because he was a Team Thad kid for a long time.
Yeah.
But I would say there are some very specific things that he does that are really nice. But in terms of his overall movement, the way he moves, the way his moves to the basket, he still plays like a 16-year-old kid. Jalen Duren did not.
No, like, grown-ass man.
Right. So I'm in agreement with you on it, man. I think Jaden Quaintance is good, but is he somebody I would drop a whole-ass bag on? No, bro.
And Penny's got to be careful with that, too, because as far as getting guys that can hurt his reputation as far as developing goes. Because that situation, it really wouldn't even be his fault. If you take a kid that's 16 years old and he don't pan out and he's not ready to go to the NBA in 1 year, or he just really doesn't look good for you at all, it's a lot more risk than it is reward with that type of kid. Because I don't think he's gonna be the type of kid who comes in. He's not gonna be Anthony Davis. He's not gonna be the type of guy that makes you a national champion. So I don't think it's it's kind of touch and go on that for sure.
It's one of the things you talk about. You've talked about a few times. I think Gabe and Christian have talked about it too. It's just this shiny toy aspect of things where you want to stay away from the shiny toy that's out there. Like, oh, this kid is 16 years old, McDonald's All-American, one of the best centers in his class. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. But how does he fit with this team? Like, how does the overall investment you would have to make into him, how does it fit with this team? Yeah. And I'm very skeptical of how he would fit.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how it all plays out. But like I said, I'm very optimistic about just the theology that Penn is using this offseason so far.
Oh, yeah.
When it comes down to recruiting, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Tell you what, man, about to take a break. When we come back, we're gonna wrap this thing up. Inside the Same Brain, brought to you by our good friends at Creative Sig. We'll see you guys in a minute.
Gabe and I talked about that on the bluff. We talked about the Maui Invitational roster, and I legitimately thought that it was a troll when I saw that online a few weeks ago. I was like, "There's no way that's real. We're getting trolled right now."
What the
teams that are there?
Yeah, it's pretty unreal. But I think do you think that has to do with NIL opportunities, like as a whole?
What do you mean?
Oh, if you are a foreign player, like there's a ruling that you can't.
Maui is in the United States.
Hawaii is the U.S.
Oh yeah, you're right.
It's the U.S.
Where did we go last time?
Oh, Dominican.
That's
and
where
then we went to the Bahamas.
That's what Bahamas was thinking of.
Dominican was the Bahamas is U.S.
No, I don't think so.
Bahamas is not U.S. God.
What? All right, Kenny, say something after you drink this astronaut.
Yeah.
We're up there in space, brother.
What is happening?
It's been a long day.
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with TJ Willis and Trey Lasley every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. At Create-A-Sig, our top priority is to provide the best customer service experiences possible while offering the largest variety of vape supplies, legal THC products, and smoking accessories. Our trained sales associates are here to assist any and all customers to help them find the best products available. With our daily deals, weekend deals, loyalty rewards program, and our punch card program, there are tons of rewards to earn to help our customers save plenty of money along the way. Check out one of Create-A-Sig's 4 locations across the greater Memphis area and come visit us.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Sain Show. Final segment of the show, Inside the Sain Brain, brought to you, of course, by good friends at Create-A-Sig, man. 4 area locations. My spot, of course, is the one on Madison and McLean. I might go after the show, man. Go check them out, man. Like I said, I gotta give me some more raw cones. I said I was gonna get some the other day. You know, I gotta go. I gotta be in New York in the morning on a flight. So I think I'm just gonna take a regular flight. I don't know if I'm.
Well, you gotta go to New York tomorrow?
Yeah, I gotta go to New York, man. I gotta get up out of here, man. Don't worry about where I'm gonna be there, man. Just know I'm gonna be there, bro. I gotta get up out of here.
Jeez. Have fun in New York, man. Let me come with you.
Yeah, but I got to ride and slide on y'all, man, for sure. But Ken, I'm gonna tell you what's been on my mind, man. And this is not Create-A-Sig induced. This is not Delta 8 nor standard marijuana induced. This is just something that's kind of troubling me, man, as a parent, you know. And I know we don't get into politics or political stuff. I mean, true politics, you know.
Right.
You know, people call like social stuff politics. Like, no,
yeah, it's political now. Yeah.
It's just human decency. like stop killing black people. Oh, stay out of politics. Okay.
Why are you being political, Sain? Wait a second. Hey, let's have some food disparity in this city. Oh, right. Stop being political. Let's make sure people get food.
Right. Right. Oh, why are you talking about politics? I thought it was just human decency.
What are we talking about here?
All right, but I'm gonna talk about true politics, right?
Okay.
I may be misinterpreting this whole situation, but it appears to me that a rule has been passed in the state of Tennessee allowing teachers and administration staff or whatever to bring handguns to schools. And I'm assuming this is in response to the mass shootings and all these type of things. So if someone intrudes a classroom, the teacher is prepared to protect the students and themselves. I think it's the purpose of all this. And I think this is absolutely wild, bro. And here's the thing. I spent time working as a teacher's assistant in a elementary school. And part of my job was to teach the emergency curriculums, right? The drill curriculums, right? So I had to teach the fire drill. And I was like, okay, yeah, I know that. I can teach a fire drill. So I said, let me go double check to make sure what I think the rules are. You know, I went online and I was like, okay, cool. I'm tight. I'm ready. So I was like, all right, had to do the fire drill. Then had to do the earthquake drill. I was tight on that. Tornado drill. Good. I was fine. Then they said it was a 4th drill, Kenny, which was the intruder drill. This is a drill I had to teach little kids, right? Broke my heart, man. Came home and told, my ex-wife at the time about it. And it just broke my heart that this was today's reality. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying that those things aren't. I said all that to say that I'm well aware that this is a real thing. Something that you have to be proactive about and not just reactive. But it bothers me that we're talking about teachers, the educators themselves, being equipped with guns in case one of these type of events were to pop off. Because my biggest fear is I don't think there'll be many situations where you have these mass shootings, but I think you will see situations where that teacher might leave that gun unprotected and a student gets a hand on that gun. Or you see a lot of incidents where students are trying to get physical with teachers or whatever, right? And if I'm a man who's sending my wife to school with a gun, ain't no telling what she might do. You know what I mean? Like for real, or just anybody. If I'm a guy who's bringing a gun to school and I know I've got that, maybe that may be reason why kids would not test you as much. But I can see kids, I can see some, something didn't even get physical. Like I'm just having a bad day and this kid threatened me or whatever happened. And then I'm, in a whole nother situation at that point. So that whole thing just kind of concerns me, man. Like, and my kid goes to a really good school. And I noticed that lately his mom is like, hey, when you go pick up Gabe now, they're going to stop you at the security. There's going to be an actual person at that security desk now, and they're going to stop you when you drive in. And I was like, all right, bet. So every time I come in, I stop and say, hey, I'm going to pick up my kid, or hey, I'm for my kid's game, or hey, I'm here to pick him up from after school care, or, whatever, right? So, or chapel or whatever, mass. So like, all right, whatever. And I was like, when I see that, it made me think, well, somebody must have been alerted to some possible situation or something small might have happened. But what I'm saying is, even though my son goes to a very good school here in the city of Memphis, we live in weird times. And I understand all that. I understand crazy stuff can jump off. But, man, it just bothers me that we're talking about teachers bringing guns to school, man. You know what I mean? Because it's like, it just seems like more can happen that doesn't have anything to do with a mass shooting than, where are you at on that, man? Where are you on this whole?
Yeah, I'm kind of.
You have small kids too, so you have
yeah. And they go to good schools too, and so it's like I think that you look at the majority of. I don't think that it being a good school or a bad school, safe or not, whatever you want to describe it. Like if you look at the kind of over the broad stories about mass shooting schools, most of the time they're at
at these good schools.
The reason why the Tennessee law got created in the first place was because of the shooting that happened at that church school in Nashville, right? Where the former student went in there and killed a bunch of people. It's different for me, man. Like, and out just to be.
Let me say this. Let me clear something up before it gets misunderstood. A lot of time when we were teaching the intruder curriculum at elementary school, the biggest worry wasn't particularly the mass shooter, but the disgruntled father.
Yeah,
in a co-parenting situation, or disgruntled 100%. Mother in a co-parenting situation coming up and doing something to somebody. Like 100%. That was the biggest fear. But I didn't want people to think that I'm saying that these mass shootings happen in bad school or bad areas of bad schools. Yeah, but go ahead what you're saying. Yeah.
Stuff like that happens everywhere. And that is a legit concern. Like that's why a lot of schools have pickup lists, right? Like if you are like if I'm picking up my son, I have to call and let them know, hey, my father is going to come today and pick him up. And this is the car he's in. This is what he looks like. This is his name. And they know my father, but they want to know. They're not going to just hand off a kid to somebody, random. But so there's all these different things that can happen, especially when you have young families, young kids, parental disputes, whatever it may be. All these things are legit possibilities, which is really, really sad. But I am of the mindset, and this is where I'm at with it. I've never owned a gun. I have never shot. I've honestly never shot a gun before. It's not something that my dad and I ever did. Is when he's not a gun guy. In terms of like owning them and keeping them in the house. I am for people having the right to bear arms. I am for that, number one. And number two, I am for educated people having the right to bear in terms of like, not educated in terms of like just normal education, but like educated about the power and the weapon that they have, the power in that weapon, how to handle it safely, how to, do all those different things. And so the idea of law-abiding, safe individuals carrying weapons does not scare me. To me, it's a sign of the times, and it's so sad to me that this is the conversation that we're having to have, right? Like that our kids, that I there are times where I'll drop my kids off at school, and man, I'm just kind of overwhelmed with this idea of what if I don't get to pick them up at the end of the day, and that's a very real thing that, sometimes you can get kind of lost in the sauce on like, this wouldn't happen here. You know what I'm saying? Because I think the biggest thing for me is with these kids or with these people that are committing these mass shootings, there is a level of deep-seated issues that have to be dealt with that aren't being dealt with in a mental health way. And me and you are both big proponents of dealing with mental health and making sure that you're getting the help that you need. Do I think the answer to stop mass shooting is arm teachers with guns? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
But do I think if you're willing to play the long game and try to help those who are mentally breaking in such a way that they would think that shooting up a school is the right way to handle a situation?
Yeah,
man, if you're willing to play that long game, man, get that person help. But it's just a sad time in which we live. Again, I don't think that it's a bad thing for people to carry guns. I think it's sad that they have to that there's an idea that they have to. This is what
even the conversation we're having. Do you think that if I'm a mass shooter, or even if I'm like a disgruntled dad or whatever who's coming up to a school and like I'm seeing my kid no matter what, or whoever I gotta take out or whatever's I'm gonna kidnap my kid or whatever's going on, right? If that's the situation, do you think that their minds are so warped that it wouldn't matter? Or do you think that just the fact of knowing that there's a chance that wherever I do, someone may be there with a gun outside of a security guard? Do you think the fact that I don't even think it matters. So it's not gonna be a deterrent at all.
No, I don't think. I mean, dude, when has making something illegal or having negative consequences been a deterrent to anybody doing things
like
that
if I'm coming with the intention of doing something bad and I'm doing it in a school where, like, you know what, Miss Margaret might have a pistol, like
she's gonna have a weapon. Yeah.
Will that slow me down?
No, I don't think so, because I think there is such a warped mind when that is even thinking about that's a potential option to handle a situation. To be frank, you don't hear about a lot of these people making out of these situations alive, and I don't think that's on accident.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. They go in there intending to. I'm probably gonna take myself out. Yeah.
I'm probably not gonna make it out of this, and I'm okay with taking a lot of people with me. So do I think that will deter it? No, I don't think more guns in schools deters school shootings. I'll say that.
Yeah.
But I don't think, I think we are a society that has decided a long time ago to not actually lean in and figure out how to work through things long term. We're always looking for those little band-aids to place over top of issues.
Let's just get more guns. Let's
get more guns are the answer. Well,
Yeah.
and you're not going to, because some of these guys are coming in with automatic weapons, man. Like, you think your little 22 is going to stop a automatic rifle, or your 9mm? Like, come on, man. What are we talking?
I just fear the story of something bad happening by accident. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just like it is devastating. Like, especially when we have kids, it is unbelievable. Those stories are unbelievable when they.
But there's going to be a teacher who leaves her gun in her desk. And a 100%. Kid catches her slipping, and anything, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, man, sad times. We joke a lot in this segment, but as parents, as fathers, man, like this, it's a dead serious, bro. Like, for real though, this makes you think for sure, man. But like I said, shout out to everybody who is called to watch, protect, and teach our kids, man. Like, we just hope you guys stay safe. Thank y'all for what y'all do, and like I said, we just in new times, man, for sure. But y'all stay with us here at Bluff City Media. Check out my guys with Tigers on Tap coming on. No, they're not Friday.
Yep. They're not Friday. Yep, it's just you on Friday, man.
But yeah, check them out on.
No, actually, you know who comes out? You know who comes out on Friday? This $2 Sports Show comes out at 3:00.
That's right. That's right.
Check into our guys. Check into Rusty Buckets and Uncle Buck, man. It's like they come on from somewhere in the boot hill of Mississippi, bro. They're in the boondocks of Mississippi somewhere recording. So
if you get quiet and get quiet enough, you can almost smell the fried corn in the background.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
And cat head gravy, whatever the hell. Red eye gravy. Oh, what is it? Cat head biscuits or something they call it. Something. Red eye gravy or something like that. Yeah.
Raccoon toes, something like that.
Yeah, all that, man. You can smell it. You can taste it, damn near, man. Every time you watch the show, man. Well, for Kenny Stubblefield, my boy Corey Parson, who came in, great interview with him. Make sure you guys check that out. Share the show. support our sponsor, man. Creative City, like I said, 4 area locations, man. A lot of tough stuff going on. You might need to get up with them, man. Just kind of escape.
Go get your Sain Asylum packs over there, man.
Asylum pack, man. Look what all you can get, man. Look at that. Look at you got a nicotine pack and you got a Delta 8 pack. Go out and get it. Do what you need to do, man.
Piece of advice to those who are Delta 8 users. Did you know that if you are driving in your car and you are partaking of a Delta 8 substance, that you have to have the packaging in which your specific piece of equipment came in for them to know that it's Delta 8 and not regular THC. Like I just found this out today. So word of advice.
A lot of times, some of the stuff has a triangle with the 8 on it, actually on the device, but all of it doesn't. So it's best to keep your products with you, man.
So go get that Delta 8 pack, man. The pre-rolls,
or just don't get high and drive. Wait, do it all at the house.
It's a good point too. It's a great point. Let's not get high and drive.
Yeah, don't be riding down the street pulling on a Delta 8 vape. Put a big ass light beaming in the police face. smoking a Delta 8 joint.
It's just Delta 8, officer.
Right, exactly.
Your ass is in
smart.
jail.
Gotta be smart in everything you do, man. But yeah, man, we'll see you guys next time, bro. Here on Anthony Sain Show. See y'all next time.
Thank you for listening to the Anthony Sain Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. For comprehensive coverage of Memphis sports, head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co and find out how you can become an insider. We will see you back here next week.